Okay, hello everyone to week 2, day 3 of A Daily Dose of Harry Potter. It's Wednesday again, so it's me, Sean, back again for the next discussion on chapters 5 through 8. First off, just for those of you who haven't read before, last week my cousin Nathaniel mentioned that Harry Potter, the first book here, have a look at it, is the equivalent of the first 22 page of Huckleberry Finn. Due to the fact that it's so small in comparison to the rest of the series. So here's a quick show. This here is the rest of the series. Got a whole shelf dedicated to Harry Potter, and as you can see, yes, the first book is a very small portion of the entire story. These next 4 chapters, we have a whole lot going on. Harry Potter and all of us reading are being introduced to the entire wizarding world. This is a world that's hidden from everyone else, or the Muggles, as they're called by the wizards. And going into Diagon Alley with Hagrid when he, takes him through the bar first. You see your first example of how Muggles and the rest of the world don't see the wizarding world, and how, they only see what they're meant to see. And then when Hagrid taps on the brick and the wall opens up and you see this entire basic strip mall, it really gives you an idea of, with as vast as the entire world is, how easy it would be for them to hide, an entire world from us. There's so much that could be hidden in all the different spaces in our Muggle world that we might not be aware of. So we go into Diagon Alley, we do our shopping with Harry. My biggest thing with the whole shopping experience was the wands. It's one of the things I was excited to find out about the first time I read the series, and I like the idea that the wands actually choose the wizard. And it's interesting in the books how it's set up that he has the counterpart to Voldemort's wand. So for those of you who haven't read all of this yet, I'm sure you'd be interested to see how all of that develops. Then from Diagon Alley we get to the Hogwarts Express. Again, another thing that's hidden from everyone else, platform 9 3/4. Smack dab right there between platform 9 and platform 10, where no one would think to look unless they knew what they were looking for. And on the Hogwarts Express, we start meeting more of the wizarding people. Harry meets Ron. They start developing a very close relationship. You also meet Hermione Granger, Neville Longbottom. And of course, you get another run-in with Draco Malfoy, Crabbe, and Goyle. Of course, Draco we already met in the cloak shop, but already you can tell that there's bad blood between them, and there's going to be a whole lot more going on in upcoming chapters and additions to the story. The biggest thing I wanted to discuss in these chapters was the sorting. First, I'm going to go back to something that Amanda spoke about last week, and that was Pottermore. I'm pretty sure most of us have gotten registered on that for the early entry. I'm excited for the official sorting that J.K. Rowling has prepared for everyone who's going to get into Pottermore. Everyone will be officially sorted into their houses. I've taken other sorting tests online, and so far everyone I've taken, I've been a Slytherin, which I'm sure a lot of you are sitting there thinking, oh, a Slytherin. And I just want to say that I just think they have a bad rap. Yes, a lot of them did turn out to be dark wizards, but not necessarily all of them, and it's really just for those who have a lot of potential and a lot of drive. So that's the house I'm in. At least until we get the official update. So when I find that, I'll let you guys know. And I'm going to poke some fun at Amanda here because my favorite line from this chapter was Draco Malfoy, and he said, well, no one really knows what they'll get there, do they? But I know I'll be in Slytherin. All our family has been. Imagine being in Hufflepuff. I think I'd leave, wouldn't you? And I'm sure you're guessing at this point Amanda so far has been shorted into a Hufflepuff, and I like to give her a hard time about that. Now, what I really want to discuss about sorting was in school, primarily high school, for those of you who have been there, and I'm sure there's those of you who haven't yet either, but you have cliques. You know, everyone breaks into their little groups of the people that they get along with most. And I've never really been a fan of the idea of the sorting with the Hogwarts students, because students are going to break apart and make their own groups anyway, and you're going to have problems between them. Why do you want to go ahead and straight into the gates of the school start breaking them apart? I really think that the Wizarding World and Hogwarts would be a lot better off if the students were brought into the school expecting to all work together. I just really feel like splitting them apart is the last thing you would want to do, that it's just going to cause more problems going forward. And I guess later on we'll see where this goes. And then we start getting to the classes. And I remember the first time I read this, I was surprised by how much more depth there was to the school than I would have previously thought. There's a lot more different kinds of classes. I mean, you've got everything from transfiguration, where you're changing one thing into another, inanimate objects like shelves or matchsticks into possibly living things, like, for instance, McGonagall turns her desk into a pig, which is, you know, I enjoy the idea that you can actually bring life to something that didn't have it before. Then you also have classes like a history of magic, which is taught by a ghost. You've got charms and everything else, herbology and potions, and there's a lot more out there. And, you know, going forward, you're going to find out a lot more about other classes as well. One of the things I found interesting with herbology is it kind of goes hand in hand with potion making, at least based on common mythologies, and I like that, you know, it's a little more down to earth, and they're teaching you not just how to make the potions, but also, you know, how to grow your own ingredients for them and stuff like that. I found that very interesting. And then speaking of potions, you've got the big event that happens in potions class, the big clash between the Gryffindors and the Slytherins and Professor Snape, and the obvious dislike between Snape and Harry, and Snape's obvious favoritism towards the Slytherins. And, you know, I think it's going to be interesting seeing how that relationship develops, and whether or not Harry can ever win Snape's favor, or if he's doomed forever to suffer in this class. And then closing out the chapters, we've got the little meeting at Hagrid's hut with Harry and Ron. If you haven't tried it, you should look up the recipe for rock cakes. They're actually much more delicious than they're made out to be in the book. I'll give that over to Hagrid's cooking skills, or lack thereof. But at the hut, we have the interesting news about Gringotts being robbed, which, of course, we've already heard about the news, but we get a little more details, and they give you the general idea that the vault that robbed just so happens to be the vault that Hagrid emptied out. And so I guess our big question going forward here really is, what was in the vault? Is that the vault that was broken into? And why would someone have wanted such a tiny, grubby little package? So I think I'm going to close it out at this point. So for those of you who have been watching and possibly reading along for the first, or who knows, maybe the 16th time, give us your comments, leave your videos, we're looking forward to reading them and watching them and seeing what you guys have to say for us, for these books. You know, every opinion matters, and we want to hear them. If you're lucky, you'll get a spot in our Sunday extra plan here. I'm very interested to see how that develops, and I will see you guys again next week then, next Wednesday, for chapters 9 through 12. And for those of you in our group who are following me, I can't wait to see what you guys have to say. Have a great weekend, and enjoy the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. Thank you. Bye-bye.